What are you, 3 minutes?
Yep. When I do that, I'm feeling pain around here. So maybe just slow like this right here. We hear very loud sound, you see. Bang, bang, just 2 times, you see. And then after that, we heard when the people at the back scream, yeah, run, run, shooter. I stand up and then I got shot. I just lay to the floor. I thought this is my final day.
The terrorists who attacked 2 mosques in Christchurch fired dozens of bullets. One hit Rahimi Ahmad in his spine, damaging the nerves that control his right leg. A year later, Rahimi's not been able to go back to work, and rehab takes up much of his time.
Most of the time after acupuncture and massage, I feel better.
Are you in pain every day?
Most of the time, just only the level of pain. Feeling like sharp pain here is every day.
How do you cope?
This is what we call the faith from God.
After the massacre, New Zealand's government gave gun owners 8 months to hand over banned weapons and gun parts. By December 20th, 2019.
I could not fathom how weapons that could cause such destruction and large-scale death could have been obtained legally in this country. I could not fathom that.
The government said it would buy banned weapons back from their owners. How much cash the owners got depended on how old the gun was and what condition it was in. Police say more than 60,000 weapons were handed in, and $66 million paid out in total.
Hey, it's good, eh?
David Tipple owns Gun City, New Zealand's largest gun retailer. He has 10 stores, including this one, which he says is the biggest in the world.
What are you really looking for today?
We're browsing, that's what we're doing.
Yeah, no one's just browsing. As one of my best employees used to say, I know you're looking, but you're going to have to ask me sooner or later because I'm the one who hit it.
So how are sales going?
We've done really well. Yeah, last year was a record year for us. Whenever there's government uncertainty, it promotes purchases.
How many guns did you have to put away?
Oh, several hundred. Well, we had about 4 sections down at that area that were AR-15 based firearms.
1 year on from the attack, how do you think that gun reform has been implemented so far?
Well, it's been a disaster. They've come up with crazy laws and resulted in lack of compliance and a huge erosion in public confidence for government and police.
So what is your estimate of the guns still out there?
Well, I think there's still 100,000 AR-15s out there.
And what does that say to you?
It says to me that these bullies didn't win. That at the end of the day, the people spoke, and they spoke with non-compliance.
By breaking the law.
By breaking the law, because they believe that good old New Zealand government will fix it sooner or later. Let's hope so.
We have been having ongoing conversations with the New Zealand firearms community to understand what impact changes could have on them, and they have been frank with us. They've shown understanding and a commitment to work together with us as we face the new world.
Deputy Police Commissioner Mike Clement was in charge of implementing the gun buyback program.
Do you think New Zealand is now safer thanks to the buyback and amnesty program?
I don't think there's any question about it. Semi-automatics shouldn't be able to be used at the rate that they have been, and over time we would hope to see that even less. So it has to be a safer place as a consequence of that.
Do you know how many banned guns are still out there?
It's a good question, and people keep asking it, but regrettably we don't know how many firearms are out there.
I've seen estimates between a half to a third of banned guns out there actually turned in. So if you don't know how many guns are actually out there, how do you know the program's actually been a success?
Well, the program is a success in the sense is that we were given a challenge or a task to create an environment where firearms owners could safely and respectfully bring in their firearms, and I'm very confident that we did that. Does that mean we've got every firearm? I can't honestly say that, but if they've deliberately chosen to hold on to firearms that are now illegal, then they face the consequences.
In the days after the mosque attacks, members from several New Zealand gangs went to Christchurch to express solidarity with the Muslim community. This group included members from the Mongrel Mob. It's the country's largest gang with about 30 chapters. New Zealand holds parliamentary elections in September, and some politicians are already using gang violence and gang access to illegal guns as a campaign issue.
Nō reira, koutou, I ahu mai mō ngā tōpito maho o tēnei whenua, koutou, I ahu mai I te ao whānui, ko mātou, te rōpu māngara, mānguru māpu e karanga atu nei ki a koutou.
Last year, after the Christchurch shooting, I know that your organization stepped up and sort of extended a hand to the Muslim community.
Oh, well, you know, we have people within our organisation that practice the faith of Islam. And so if there's ever an opportunity for gangs to show their sense of self-worth, that was it. Because we understand what pain and suffering is. We understand what being, shot at feels like.
The politicians are trying to prevent another attack like this from happening. And I know in recent discussions, there seems to be an increased focus on the gangs.
It almost defies belief that all the major shootings, most of the major shootings in this country have been perpetrated by white males. And suddenly the government or the politicians, both sides of the house, are now making this a gang issue. Absolute electioneering, fear-mongering, they want votes.
Since gun reform has been rolled out, the police have focused a lot on the gangs. Why is that?
The obvious answer to that is that gangs do have a propensity to equip themselves with firearms. We always go after gangs and organised crime because the reality is, number one, they're conducting illegal activity and they're enabling that activity with firearms that are almost always illegal in their hands. The reality is guns in the hands of crooks are bad things.
Some of them have said they're being made scapegoats.
It's not necessarily a label I would use, but if they feel as though they've been called scapegoats, then I guess they need to look at themselves, frankly, because I don't think any right-thinking New Zealander wants to see a gang member organised crime in possession of illegal firearms. So, not too much sympathy for them, I'm sorry.
Birthday to you. Happy birthday to Faika. Happy birthday to you. Baca doa.
These days, Rahimi is heavily reliant on his family for support. His son Ahmad was in the Al-Noor Mosque with him when the attack took place. He escaped without injury, but doesn't like to talk about what happened. Rahimi's wife Noor now looks after the family, all while managing her husband's recovery.
My family, my husband is the first priority for me. Until Rahimi can do everything by himself. But I have to think about our family. I never think that this will happen in New Zealand because this is a very safe country.
Well, the kids are great.
Yeah, they understand what is the situation now. They helps me a lot. Some of them will take care of Rahimi. At these situations, we want Rahimi's not alone, but we want he feels that he's still in the family.
Do you worry about your kids?
We always talk about why this happened, so we have to accept it with an open heart, forgive somebody, because done is done.
After the attack, the government took major steps to ban military-style guns immediately within a month. Do you think that was enough?
Yeah, I think that's the good step. Yeah, to do that. But if you don't have a good monitoring or intelligent information, it's still sometimes it can, for me, it can happen again.